Good morning. Happy New Week. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy New Week to you. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for a new day. We thank God for a new week. We thank God that we are alive once again. We thank God that we are here, we are alive, and we have the gift of life today. We just give God all the glory. We thank Him, we thank Him, we thank Him, we thank Him because we know that there is a God. Yes, there is a God. He's the one that gave us the breath of life that we're living in here this time and whatever time you'll be watching this. So we thank God for the gift of life. We thank God because we have decided, or I have decided, or if you're watching this, you have decided. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning. You know, we have decided that we want to have everything that God has for us. So happy new week, everybody. Good morning. We thank God for the gift of life. How are you all doing? Are you good? Are you fine? How is your week going? I hope it's on for a good start. You know, earlier I said this week, this is another opportunity for us to choose love. This is another opportunity for us to choose joy, peace, and everything good in our lives and in our relationships. So good morning, good morning, good morning. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining this morning. If you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up. I hope you're doing fine this morning. Oh my God. Wow, 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 wow. You know, another thing I wanted to say also is before I go on to read this is that the thing was just coming to me was like, I choose the way of the Lord. I choose the way of the Lord. The song was just I choose the way of the Lord. I choose the way of the Lord. Like in whatever life, in whatever circumstances, if I'm going to have this breath of life, I have actually made up my mind that I'm going to choose. Yeah, I'm going to choose the way of the Lord, whatever He wants me to do, you know, whatever His suggestion is about life, a relationship, or whatever. I'm actually going to choose His way. I hope that will be your decision now or at some point very early in your life. So I'm going to read the comments. And Chinya Aboma said, I am great, thank you, and I hope you are doing well. I am. How is your baby boy now? He's fine. Thank you so much. He's fine. He's back in school now. So they're back in school. So we thank God. That was why I couldn't do the IG live the other time. But he's very well. He's very well. Thank you so much for asking. Good morning to Obi Kazi. Thank you so much for coming this morning. Okay. So we are today is week 6, episode 19, and you know, if you missed the previous episode, please go back and read it. So last week we were reading, you know, the author was sharing our experience of what happened, because the topic was can God heal a marriage? Let me reduce this a bit. Can God heal a marriage was what we started with last week, and the author was sharing our own experience of what happened, how bad our marriage got to, you know, and she discovered that, you know, our husband was really addicted to sex, and they used the word here, they said like a sexual pervert. Yeah, you know, so addiction, and you know, like the colleagues had to come to really, and they were even close friends, they had to come and say, you know what, this guy needs help and this is what is going on. I don't know, unbeknown to her, these things were really bad, you know. And like we said, the days after, like later on, they went to seek for help. So I just read. It says, the days that followed were like a whirlwind. The days that followed were like a whirlwind. A board member and recovering alcoholic from Max Clinic knew of a treatment center in Minneapolis for sexual addiction. These are really what we're talking about in this episode. This talk, that deep stuff doesn't really it doesn't make it to the light of day, really, but in the secret, There's a lot of stuff going on. Addictions, drug addictions, alcoholic addictions, sexual addictions. So many things going on that is messing up our lives, messing up our destinies, messing up our relationships. And we've got to talk about it. So he said, so I'll just read on. So he said that there was help and hope, as he knew that sex addiction was very much like alcoholism. He helped Mark get connected there, and within 3 days, Mark was leaving for a 30-day inpatient program. It was expensive and we had no means to pay. But this wonderful physician agreed to take care of it for Mark in full. The grace of God had only begun. Now, I'm not sure how I managed those weeks. This is the author talking here. But we lived in a fairly small town, and the information about Mark's behavior was front page news. You see, dealing with all of these things in the public, the shame, the shame, and that's why most of the time addictions thrive in secrecy, because when we feel like when we bring it out to the front, my God, people are going to be up. I'll be so ashamed of myself. And that is why, you see, oh my God. That is why there's a lot of deception, there's a lot of lies, there's a lot of stuff in our relationships, because, the other party will say, if you truly know who I am, are you going to still love me the way you claim to love me? Or if you truly really know how dirty I am, can you still accept me? Can you still love me? And this is where, things go on. And why do we have addictions? Why do we struggle with addictions? Why do we struggle with some of these things? Sometimes it's more like there's something missing in our soul. There's something that we are longing for that we don't have, and we look for all of those things, all of those things in the wrong places, and then we get hooked to those things. You see. So if at any point you have any comments, please put it in the comment section or Q&A or the Q&A box. So she said, I'm not sure how I managed those weeks. We lived in a fairly small town, and the information about Mark's behavior was front page news. Now, let me say something here also. She said, the public humiliation drove me into isolation. Drove me into isolation with embarrassment and shame I had never experienced. She is not even the one going through addiction. It's her spouse that is going through addiction. But then the shame was for everybody. Now, something just came to my mind now. I feel like in order for us to show love or to help one another, if people are vulnerable with us, we should be careful with that information. We should be careful or not to be judgmental about other people's struggle. We should not be judgmental. Oh, why are you this? How come you are this? No. We should treat each other with love, with grace. With grace. We should not be the first person to go and last speaker, like share the news. Oh, did you hear? I found this, I found that, I found this person is struggling. This person, no. We can do better. So in other words, we should be careful with the way we treat other people's pain. Yeah, other people's pain and hurt. So that people will not continue to die in silence. Okay, so she said that, she said, I had never experienced, she said, I had no one to talk to. I had no one to talk to other than Mary, my business partner. I did not know of support groups. Friends, church members, and colleagues all stayed away. Look at that. Sometimes we think we have friends, but when you go through stuff in life, you go through some things in life, then you know who the kind of friend, you know who is really for you and who is not really for you. But we can also choose to be better, to be that kind of friend that will stick closer even when the chips get down. This is why we're here. We want to learn. Not only are we looking for the perfect partner or the perfect spouse or the perfect whatever, we also want to be somebody that somebody else will be looking for. You see. So she said, I had 3 small children to care for and no financial means to do so. I needed to be strong. But on the inside, I was terrified. I was terrified. Family Week was a treatment center tradition where spouses and other family members were invited to join in the therapeutic process. So during Family Week, my recovery officially began. I went there to support Mark and to do whatever I needed. I hope the music is okay. Okay, so I went there to support Mark and to do whatever I needed to do to help him get better. I was filled with information about family systems. I began to understand that we are products of whom we live with and how we do relationships together. She began to understand that we are products, all of us. We are products of who we live with, those in our inner circle, who we live with, and how we do relationships together. Mark and I met with therapists and processed in groups about our experiences. We journaled. Somebody mentioned journal actually in the very first episode. Very good. Journaling is also good. We journaled, we shared stories, we cried, and for the first time, we began to experience a closeness in sharing our hearts. In sharing our hearts. So she's sharing the journey of how God began to heal our marriage. He said this was what I was missing. I knew it. This closeness was beginning out of brokenness and adversity. This was being vulnerable and intimate. How different this was from my original fantasy that having happiness would bring closeness. When Mark's stay at the treatment center ended, there were lots of decisions about what aftercare would be. Therapy appointments. Oh God. If you read all of these things, it sounds like a lot of work. I don't even know how many of us are even willing to even do half or 10% of what they are saying here. But this couple, they actually put a lot of work, they put themselves into it to be able to get to that point even. So how many of us are even willing to say, okay, fine. Oh, I've experienced some things in my life, but I want to get better. But then, am I willing to actually do the whole work to get better? You see, not just talking about getting better, but actually doing the work every single day to get better. Let me just read on. It says, therapy appointments and groups were arranged for both of us back home, but I wasn't convinced that I needed weekly therapy too. So it only took one session with my therapist, Mozin was her name, to convince me that I was in the right place doing the right thing. I know today that God brought me to this wise and gentle woman to lead me down a path of self-awareness and transformation that has changed my life. As people watching this, we need to get a point whereby we become self-aware of our lives, of our emotions, of what is actually going on within us, within our mind, within our soul, within every part of our lives. You become self-aware. You study yourself, you become am I okay? If you're not okay, if I'm not okay, what is going on in there? Become self-aware of your emotions, of your triggers, of what is it? Are you wounded? Becoming self-aware is a really great tool I think we need in our generation today, in order for us to be able to, manage our emotions, have emotional intelligence, to be able to navigate our relationships in a healthy way, So this intense therapy, thank you so much, Secret, for joining. This intense therapy lasted 18 months or so until we moved to Minneapolis for Mark's new job. Mark and I met weekly in therapy-led support groups. I was in a women's group and Mark was in a men's group. Okay. At the same time, we participated in a couples group. Just look at the work that they did here. Individually, dealing with addiction and everything like that. And then they sought help. not only did one person seek help, they sought help also as a partner. It's like a lot of work as a couple, sorry. A lot of work that they were willing to do to work on actually getting whole, in their minds and in their emotions. You see, she said that, I was in a women's group and Mark was in a men's group. At the same time, we participated in a couples group. So additionally, we both took time for individual sessions in therapy and went to 12-step groups. My bedside table was stacked with recovery books, and I began my addiction to tips. I could not get enough information. I was alive. I was alive for the first time in my life. Even though there were weeks and months of much grieving and sadness, as I learned how to create support around me, I knew that I could be safe to deal with great sadness and anger. Ooh. Are we just living, or are we truly alive? Are we just existing? Are we truly alive? Every single day that we live on this earth, are we just going through the motions, or you're actually having life? The moment that we keep creating in our lives, is it full of life? Is it full of, oh my God, 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 oh my God? Are we living bound, or are we living free? Are we living bound? Are we living free? You see, and there's so much life, so much life that we can have access to. Please, if you have any comments, I want to hear from you guys. Actually, as we are talking, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to read your comments. So let's keep it interactive, so I can know what's going on in your mind also as we read this. So, are we living bound? Are we living free? If you look at the author, what they were saying here, there's a lot of work in the African setting. I don't know. We have not come to the place of embracing counseling, embracing therapy. It's more like, what are you talking about? Therapy? Who needs that? Who needs counseling? Who need that? But you can see what they walked through. No matter how bad we are, or at a particular stage, or what we are dealing with, we can get better if we're actually willing to put ourselves into it and actually do the work that is needed to work on ourselves. Me, emotionally now, I was not this way many years back. You see, I was not this way many years back. But I love to read. I love to look for resources online. I love to do stuff. I became very self aware. I did a course also in counseling and psychology. That also expanded my mind. Reading expands your mind. You look for resources. It will help you. You have to put yourself. You have to put the work. You have to do the work. It's not about just them gallivanting all over the town just with no depth. We've got to have depth as people. What is the inside? What's going on in our inside? Do we have substance? Do we have sustaining power, sustaining strength? Okay, let me read the comments. CEO Mikasi said, the truth is some days we live and some days we just exist. That is so true. Yes, true. And sometimes, we have to be intentional about actually living, not just existing, because sometimes it's true. To be honest, sometimes we live and sometimes we just exist because we cannot even be bothered to do the work, really. And then the next comment here, Chine Abuoma says that many of us are just existing. Many of us are just existing, not living. And the truth is to live free or die. Yeah. We've got to choose to live free or die, really. So you see, that is actually very, very true. Sukre said, Genesis 5, living before begetting. That's deep. Living before begetting. So you see, no matter what level that we are in, the topic of the next chapter that we're reading is, can God heal a marriage, or can God heal a relationship? And I want to just break it down to, because I know that people that are watching right now, some of you are not married, you're single or something, but how can this message be relevant to you at this season of your life? It's more about like, okay, you're assessing your soul and you're looking at it. Am I whole in myself? Do I have wounds in myself, or what? Am I dealing with addictions? Because at the end of the day, if you're not healthy as a person, you cannot have a healthy marriage. Healthy people create healthy relationships and healthy marriages. So if we want to have healthy marriages, the way God wants us it to be, we've got to start from ourselves, working on our own self and actually doing the work. Okay, so the next another question here, I'm sorry, says, sorry, what addiction were they battling with? It was sexual addiction. So the husband was battling with sexual addiction, and he said that sometimes even sexual addiction can also be like alcoholism addiction. Is addiction in whatever shape or form, So that was what we have been reading, and they were looking for the things that they did to help them in their journey of combating it. Okay, so now let me just read on because of our time. If you have any questions, please put it in the Q&A session so that we can hear your thoughts or your questions or your views. So how many months, I read on. After months of recovery, we began to envision a new beginning and to plan for the move to Minneapolis. You see, they've done the work, and now when we do the work, we begin to have new vision, new insights. Our minds will begin to sharpen and be alerted. We receive light in our minds. We begin to think differently. Some people might be in a very abusive relationship whereby probably they were beating the person, and they don't see anything good that can ever come out of their life. Their confidence and their self-esteem are beaten out of them. They've lost who they are. But when they begin to do the work and work on their mind and everything like that, before you know it, they begin to look at it that, wait, come on here, I'm God's masterpiece. I'm really, I deserve better. Like, I'm loved by God. Their minds will begin to be, enlightened and sharpened, and then they begin to have great vision for themselves. You see, and then you see that, come here, I don't have to die like this, I don't have to wallow like this, I don't have to end my life like this. My life is better, my life is a gift. You begin your mind, you begin to be enlightened. You see, and then we have new vision. We'll be awakened with passion. You see. Wow. Okay, so she said, and then the other shoe dropped. Okay, let me go back. After months of recovery, we began to envision a new beginning and to plan for the move to Minneapolis. And then the other shoe dropped. The doorbell rang, and a policeman in full uniform handed me an envelope. It was a lawsuit. I couldn't imagine how I could endure anything more. I was shaken to the core and terrified for Mark. The media loved the news. It seemed as if the whole world was watching. I would have rather died that day. Actually, the shoes kept coming. And before it was all over, 3 lawsuits were filed. For a couple of years, we lived in the ambiguity of those court decisions and what they would do to us financially. I vacillated between anger and compassion and hopelessness, a roller coaster of emotions, to try to deal with the reality that is coming in. It's like one thing after another, one battle after another, coming to you and be like, God, can I take this? Can I take this? Can I take this? Emotions keep going from anger, compassion, and then hopelessness, or gloominess, or depression, whatever it is. I felt like I was a roller coaster of emotions that would never stop. Mark was devoted to the endless needs of starting a new career, but it was evidence that he was willing to do whatever it took to stay faithful and true to our marriage and to his recovery. Willingness. Another key point today in this broadcast, willingness. No matter what your reality is presently is now, you that are watching this IG live, no matter what our reality is now, we have been given the breath of life, and this, that we can watch this, we have a gift of life. No matter what your reality is now, no matter how miserable you might think you are right now, as long as you're willing to do the work and do it God's way, that you want to choose the way of God to do it, God can always make a message out of your mess. Fact. That is just fact right there. So as long as that's the willingness, a lot of us sometimes we struggle. We are not willing to actually do it. A lot of times we are not willing, but we must be willing. So she said that she noticed that her husband, was willing to do the work, was willing to be faithful and true to our marriage and to do his recovery. So I am humbled sometimes to admit that I was not nearly as motivated to keep working so hard at recovery. This is another part of diligence. Keep working so hard at recovery. I wanted to be normal and not carry the label of a sexually addicted family. What label are we carrying today? What label has life put on us? Or what label have we put on ourselves? What label have they put in our families? What label do we have? He said, look at this family, they are this, they are that. Whatever label it is, our names can be changed for good. I read on. Depletion of time, energy, and resources can easily grip into the demise of any efforts to heal from sexual addiction. When at least one of us has been able to lead and encourage the other through those times, we have begun to witness the strength of our one flesh union. We have begun to witness the strength of our one flesh union. God has taught us that both husband and wife don't need to be strong or healthy at the same time. That is why He makes us companions. If one stumbles and falls, the other is there to be supportive. I admit that there were numerous times when I wanted to run from it all. I had had enough of talking about sex. We really did work on lots of other issues, but there were days when I thought that all we dealt with was addiction. Now, let me just read the last part and then I'll say something. My personal journey continued in lots of ordinary ways. From seminars to women's tennis leagues, I was spending time getting to know and cherish some of the dormant parts of my life. In doing so, I came more and more alive to my relationships with Mark and others. Transformation was happening in many little ways each day and would continue for the rest of my life. I think, what are your thoughts on today's session so far? I want to read your comments. Please put it in the comment section. Did anything resonate with you? Did anything provoke your thoughts? What are your thoughts? I want to hear from you. As regards today, from reading all of this, I just feel like, and another thing also, as a couple, they went through all of this together as a couple. Now look at it now. What is our capacity, even as a single person? What is your capacity? Can you go through something like this? Can you walk through something like this with somebody that you feel like you love? Do you think you have that capacity? You feel like this person is dealing with this kind of issue, this kind of addiction. Can you walk through it with the person? Or you'll be like, oh man, you'll be grand, just go work on it on yourself. What are your thoughts? Or you feel like it's a deal breaker for you? Like and that's why you see marriage is a big deal. It's a lot of work. And I know that definitely if the author here, if she discovered this probably when they were dating or something, I don't think that she would Amos Ritchie here. I don't think that she would even say that she wants to work on anything. Amos Ritchie says that can two work together except they agree. Yeah, I have to say that. Then CEO Mikasi said, I think I can. But most times guys don't find it easy to open up. Yes. You see, and what helped them here was that they talked about it. The guy opened up and he was willing to do the work. It's not about, okay, it's not like the woman is the only one praying. Like the man too was able, okay, I need help. This is what it is. I need help, and I'm willing to seek the help. And he put himself into the counseling, into the therapy, into the recovery stages, and everything like that to do the work. You see, so. And I feel like everybody that will be watching this, if you're a single person or whatever, especially when you are the male gender, no matter what your reality is, you can begin to change the narrative for your future and for many people in our generation today. Show up for things, learn stuff, give yourself to knowledge, give yourself to therapy, give yourself to this, advocate for all of these things. We need more men, because a lot of times, a lot of women are doing a whole lot of stuff, when it comes to even self-development. They develop themselves, they work on themselves, they do everything. Well, I'm not going to say all women do, though, but I'm just saying most men, if you look at most women, if you look at the percentages, the women, they seek for knowledge, they watch videos, even when it comes to parenting, when it comes to stuff, they do a lot of stuff. But if you look at the men, they're not copying on at all. They're not copying on at all. And we need to get up and actually be willing to do the work, because you see, 2 can chase 10,000. And in our society today, in our families today, we need to get up. Men need to rise up. Yes, we provide, we do that. Yes, you do provide. We thank you very much for doing that. But also, we need men to rise up. We need men to rise up. Please do the work. And when you get it right, because you're at the edge, when you get it right, it's easier for the women also in the homes, in the families as well. So, willingness to do the work, no matter what your reality is, no matter what your, whatever it is, how bad the relationship is, you can get better if we are humble enough to seek for help and seek for counseling. And also, we're going to be advocating for therapy, going for counseling, going for recovery support groups. We need to be doing that in our race. We need to be looking for all those things. We need to be doing that because we need help. Our society is crying for help. Our society, our families, crying for help for us to rise up and do something about it. Let me read the comment here. And Chino Aboma also said, I am really inspired by the work they did, and I feel this where the true love comes into play. Yes. The work that they did, when true love comes into play, yes. When there's actually true love, no matter whatever anybody is going through, love is patient. Love will walk through. Love does not, it will not castigate the person. And that's why earlier I was talking about where people are even vulnerable with us, with their pain, with their hurts. We shouldn't be like very, very judgmental or be like older than thou or whatever, or look like we are the first person to put the loudspeaker and be sharing their business all over the town. No, we should be that confident, that we can be a safe space for people. This is how we change the narrative. Let me read another comment. CEO Mikazi said, even if they admit they need help, they might want to get help before coming back into the relationship, yes, and not go through it with their partners. Yes, that's actually true. Yeah, some people might feel like they need to do this kind of work by themselves, and that is actually true, because sometimes some people feel like the other spouse might not be prepared, to handle the nitty-gritties of what they need to walk through. And they might feel like they don't want to open up to that level. But in marriage, they need to open, no matter how gory it is. But sometimes I feel like the reason why even some men don't even open up is because they feel like women, I don't think you can even handle my truth. You cannot handle it. That's why sometimes they will tell you that men feel like women needs to be lied to, because you cannot handle, if we tell you the truth, you cannot handle it. That's down another topic for another day. But to be honest with you, honesty is very important. Being plain, safe space, being vulnerable, and then be able to get into that maturity whereby we handle each other's hearts, we handle each other's soul with respect, with caution. We handle it with care. You see, we handle it with care. So, I'm going to be rounding off today's session. So, last words. We can get better if we are willing to do the work. Let us be willing to do the work. Are we choosing the way of the Lord? You know, whatever circumstances that we find ourselves in, we can be better. It's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new life. As long as you are here watching this, you have the breath of life. You woke up this morning, you have the breath of life. God wants you to have that life and to have it abundantly, to have joy, to have peace. Whatever it is that you're holding us bound, you might be dealing with addiction, dealing with whatever. That's not the plan of God. That's not where He wants you to stay. That's not where He wants your bus stop to stop. No. You've got to pass through it and do the work. Now I have another comment here. It says, yeah, I believe the two parts I've been willing to see. I believe the two parts have to be willing. Yes. The two parts have to be willing to see where they need help and get help together. Yes. The willingness, that key word, willingness. A lot of times we know we're just not where we're supposed to be, but then are we willing to get to where we want to be? That's another key point there. Yes, that's humility, and then things get better from there, I believe. So no matter how bad it is, yes, exactly. That's just it. That's just it. But that point of willingness, and doing the work is not glamorous. Doing the work is not glamorous. There'll be times of tears. There'll be times of pain. There'll be times of, I don't want to do this. There'll be times of, no. Building, you do see builders doing construction and everything. Did they look pretty? Did they look like, hello, I'm gonna be good. Thank you very much. Can I have this now? Oh, okay, whatever. No, they go down there. They go dirty. They go dirty. They're building. They're taking this out. They're doing. But when you see the finished product, oh my God, you'll be like, oh, this is so beautiful. Builders don't look pretty, because the work. We've got to build. We've got to do the work. Yeah, we've got to do the work. Okay, we've got to do the work. So I've got to go because I'm on my time, and I'm sure even with myself, I'll probably go back and actually watch the IG live. Because to be honest with you, let me tell you guys a secret. I go back to God is working on me myself. I go back and He will tell me, go and watch the last episode you made, or go and watch this. Listen to it over again. I go back again, I play it, I listen to it over again. I start thinking about it. Hey God, help me with this. What do I need to work on here? So come on, we're on this journey together, everybody. Thank you all so much. It's going to be a lovely week. Please choose joy, choose peace, choose love. Let's do the work. Let's seek knowledge so that we can really live our life and not exist. All right. Don't forget to live every moment, laugh every day, and love beyond words. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And please invite people to join this IG live. Invite them to like the page. Invite them to share. You know, we have YouTube channel also, The Sign with Abiola on YouTube. On Facebook, The Sign with Abiola. On Instagram, The Sign with Abiola. So go ahead, like, share to as many people as possible so that we can have awesome lives and awesome families in our generation today. Okay, so I'm going to be seeing, my name is Abiola as usual. I'm going to be seeing you tomorrow. Enjoy your day. All right, and thank you so much for joining today. So one love, peace.